In exam halls across the country, the silence is heavy. It's a high-stakes race where the pressure to perform leaves little room for actual thought. From a young age, students are conditioned to equate high scores with a secure future. Success is measured by the ability to replicate a textbook rather than the capacity to solve a problem. This testing culture operates on a massive industrial scale. Every year, millions of students sit at identical desks, participating in a uniform filtering process that values output over understanding. This process successfully manufactures students who can recite the correct answers. However, it fails to produce the analytical minds required to ask new questions. At the end of this pipeline are India's elite institutions, the highly coveted destination for those who survive the rote learning gauntlet. This chart reveals a staggering statistical anomaly. While the number of students scoring above 90% continues to climb, 75% of recent graduates are rejected by the workforce because they lack basic professional competencies. This gap is the result of rote learning, a cognitive process where students memorize facts through repetition without ever grasping the underlying principles. The current system operates with peak efficiency, perfectly calibrated to produce the very results it measures, even if those results no longer align with the needs of the modern world. To measure how these students perform on the global stage, we look to PISA, the Program for International Student Assessment. It's the primary benchmark for seeing how well 15-year-olds can apply their knowledge to real-life situations. While domestic board exams focus on procedural recall, PISA evaluates reasoning in unfamiliar contexts. It tests what a student can do with what they know. In the 2009 assessment, results exposed the rote learning model's limitations, ranking India 72nd out of 74 nations. The point gap reveals the crisis. India's absolute top performers, destined to lead in science, fell significantly behind the average students in top-performing nations like Singapore. An inability to apply theoretical knowledge renders a student functionally unprepared for reality, no matter how high their domestic test scores may be. High-performing nations like Finland take a different approach, prioritizing interactive, inquiry-based environments where students lead the conversation. This shift is known as concept mastery. The focus moves away from simply finishing a syllabus and toward a deep understanding of fundamental principles. In India, 3 specific factors block this transition: the crushing pressure of standardized tests, an outdated curriculum, and a lack of real-world exposure. This pie chart quantifies the isolation of Indian higher education. 37% of institutions have zero internship integration, meaning many students graduate with no exposure to a professional environment. The educational crisis is the direct result of an architecture designed for a predictable industrial era, one that no longer exists. Relying on a rote learning workforce is a liability in an era driven by artificial intelligence. Algorithms can now perform memorization tasks far more efficiently than humans. To address this, new initiatives like the National Education Policy 2020 and Atal Tinkering Labs are attempting to move the system toward competency-based learning. Experiential learning is the critical bridge here. It moves students away from textbooks into hands-on projects, where they apply theoretical physics to real-world engineering. India's demographic advantage is only useful if its youth transition from passive accumulators of knowledge into active innovators. Society faces a definitive choice: continuing the chase for meaningless marks, or committing to the difficult work of true skill development. The culture of the classroom must change. Questioning and curiosity should be celebrated as indicators of intelligence, rather than being dismissed as disobedience. To find its place in the 21st century, India needs to transition from a manufacturing line for toppers into a culture that cultivates independent thinkers.